Hey, what's going on? Welcome to the Doug Show. My name is Doug Cunnington, and in this episode, I talked to Joe and Mike, and they are the founders of buildassetsonline.com, and they're pretty cool. I was introduced to them in the last few weeks, and they are brothers. They've been working together online since 2014, so just about the same time I was getting started, and since then, they've succeeded at multiple different business models, including Amazon FBA, that's fulfilled by Amazon, Kindle publishing, and e-commerce websites. They dabble a little bit in affiliate marketing as well, but it was really cool to talk to them because they have their own online portfolio that they built since 2014, consisting of over 10 different businesses. So they are truly putting together a portfolio of businesses that are in different areas. So people talk about diversifying their risk and diversifying their business and income and all that stuff. These guys are doing it, and they're doing it not by just like creating new businesses with the same business model, but they are actually doing it by creating different businesses. And that is a great way to diversify, because this is something I run into all the time. People think if they just create multiple businesses using the exact same business model, that they are diversifying. And they are on a small scale to a certain extent, but actually creating different business models that get traffic from different sources, you're actually working with different affiliate models or different, not even affiliate models at all, but you're working with like drop shipping and stuff, which brings me to one of the cool debates and one of the big topics of this whole episode. Mike and Joe and myself debate drop shipping versus affiliate marketing. Now, if you're listening to this show and you've listened to the Doug Show a few times, you probably know I do affiliate marketing. That's sort of the area where I focus. These guys do a lot more in the drop shipping area. They have various other business models, but the point is we have a debate, and we actually, it was all friendly and everything, but we actually like butt heads a little bit. So it's pretty fun. Let us know if you like that, or actually I like the contrast. I like having the little debate on there. It's a little more interesting than just everybody agreeing all the time. That gets boring, of course. So anyway, there's one other thing I want to mention with Joe and Mike here, and that is they do have a free course out there. I will actually put a link in the show notes and description so you can get to it really easy. It is called Online Asset Playbook, and here's the tagline: steal our secret formula for creating $1 million plus in assets from home with dropshipping, even if you have no prior experience. I will mention that probably having some prior experience is a little bit helpful, but they hit all the marks as far as this free course goes. So I highly recommend you check it out if you like what these guys are talking about. If you're thinking, hey, I'm interested in drop shipping, I want to learn what they're talking about. It could be a great thing to get into, specifically if you do have an affiliate site that is making money already and you kind of understand the affiliate site model and you're thinking, hey, I want to diversify a little bit. Hey, I want to introduce myself to some new concepts, some new business models, and that sort of thing. Again, it's just a free course out there. You could just sign up. I'm sure you have to give some information like your email address and your name, stuff like that. But it is free, so I encourage you to check it out. Now let's talk to Mike and Joe from Build Assets Online. Hey, what's going on? It's Doug Cunnington here, and I'm with Mike and Joe from Build Assets Online. Did I get it right?
Yes.
All right, perfect. So for the people that don't know you, much like myself, I actually don't know you guys that well. Can you give a little bit of an intro and just what do you guys do over at Build Assets Online?
So at Build Assets Online, Mike and I are focused on kind of just what the name sounds like, is creating a profitable portfolio of online assets. Sorry to use the definition to define the thing, but basically at the core of what we do, we start with high ticket dropshipping, which is still the core of our business today. And we use the cash flow from that to invest in other profitable web-based businesses. And the reason that we start with the high ticket dropshipping is because what we've found is that the cash flow from it is much faster than other business models. You can kind of get it going, get it started in 2 weeks if you like really apply yourself, and then scale it from there. And then because some of the other business models are still great and they still have like high multiples and they're extremely passive and great businesses, we'll use that to invest in those and grow the portfolio.
Got it. And Mike, I'll direct this question. I'll try and do a little orchestrating here, give everybody some time here. So, like, you guys are brothers? Is that the situation here? Okay.
Yeah.
So you're brothers, and like, what did you do before you were doing drop shipping and stuff like that?
So Joe had gotten a food science degree. He was working, just doing stuff with that. I had a chemical engineering degree, and I was doing stuff for military contractors. But Joe had started doing retail arbitrage, so essentially just going to big box stores, going to the clearance aisle, and then reselling stuff on Amazon. And he had quit his job maybe in 2013 or so. And I wasn't really happy at my job. I kind of wanted to get a taste. So, he didn't want me to do the same thing because Amazon kind of has its restrictions. And so I went down the route of Kindle publishing. I found, a coaching program with that and just started doing it. And then within probably like 3 or 4 months, I quit my job. And then things kind of went awry with Kindle, and we were both doing it. And that's essentially what forced us to start our dropshipping business.
Okay. And sorry, you said what happened with Kindle?
So basically back in the day, it was kind of like the old niche sites with Google, how everyone kind of got slammed by the update. That's essentially what happened to us. Kindle was a bit different, and the way our books were structured and kind of the way people did things was a bit more gray hat. And so one day my account got suspended as I was about to quit my job, and I lost like 2 months of royalties since they pay you 2 months later. And so we were kind of out of options, and he had just bought a house, so we needed to do something quick, and that's kind of when we made our first dropshipping store. And again, we went from 0 to first sale within 2 weeks.
I was also pretty heavily invested in Kindle at that point because he was doing well with it, and I kind of moved away from the retail arbitrage because the Kindle was the potential of it was so much higher so I thought at the time. And so we were both like most of our income coming from Kindle, and then he literally quit his job, and like the day before it happened, or on that day, and I had like signed the final contracts on a house like the week before, and I didn't have a job. So we really have had to be like, all right, let's get this we got to get something figured out quick.
Yeah. And that was really kind of a defining moment for what has become our overall business strategy, because it taught us that, while Amazon brings really good income, it's, a very risky platform to have all your money invested in. And, so now we kind of we teach having an overall well-rounded portfolio, and we still do Kindle now. So it still works good, and, we've had some bestsellers, but the main point is that dropshipping is the best way to get money quick and get an asset that you can sell, and then everything else complements it in their own ways.
Got it. And can you give me an idea of like what you guys were pulling in before the issues in the Kindle publishing business side?
Yeah, I think I was on pace to make like probably $12,000 to $15,000 profit
like per
Kindle.
month?
Yeah, when that happened. And so that got kind of taken, but now we're back on a good pace. I think we're closing in on like $5,000 to $6,000 profit each month. And I'm pretty involved in the community, and I know some big Kindle people, and they make a lot of money. And there's still a lot of money to be made in Kindle, but
it's more mature.
Yeah.
also heard of some really big publishers losing their accounts.
That's true too. We've known some top 100 authors who have just gotten their accounts taken down, and there's really no recourse with Kindle. Once it's taken down, unless a miracle happens, you're out of luck.
Wow. And what issue would a person have, like in the top 100? Like what violation would they make to get kicked out?
Honestly, a lot of it comes from other independent writers who are a bit bitter that you use ghostwriters and stuff like that, and they'll just like spam report you and do things like that. And as you may know, Amazon, their customer service, especially for their sellers, is not the best. So it's like if someone chooses to, strike down your account, getting it back is usually quite a hassle.
Got it.
Yeah. But,
all right.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, super interesting. You guys were getting started around the same time as me. And I do remember hearing all these amazing Kindle publishing stories. And I was like, I should check it out. But luckily I didn't get too distracted and actually try. But yeah, I remember hearing like just crazy stories, really quick to ramp up. And once you get the system set, it's just like churn it out, right?
Yeah. And it's still awesome. I mean, the churn rate is less now. It's more really focused on creating a high quality brand. And, in the future, when we come out with, our strategies on Kindle, I think you'll find that it all actually works together with the niche site stuff. And, there's a lot you can do with it. And it is still a really, really good asset class because if you let it just do nothing, it makes money every month. Like I probably put 5 hours a month into Kindle for, good profit. So, yeah.
All right, cool. And Joe, were you about to say something there?
No, I mean, I think he kind of touched on it, that we're really putting our efforts into now kind of combining business models, like combining like the niche site with the Kindle publishing and, building the email list that way, using Facebook ads to build the email list, which is then great for the Google traffic because they see that you already have traffic. So we're really, a lot of our R&D and efforts is focused onto doing that stuff. And it's all, we can do it. We can afford it because we have the dropshipping stores, which is great.
Very cool. So, and take me, let's go down that route now. So you both were doing really well with the Kindle publishing, and then you lost that revenue source, either 100% or enough of it where it was catastrophic, right? So you had to move into some other stuff. So how did you determine what you were going to do next? How did you deal with that stress? You just bought a house and all that stuff. So Joe, why don't you kick it off and then we'll see where it goes here.
Well, I think we knew we wanted to do online. I mean, at that point, like I was moving to kind of the middle of nowhere. I've moved back to New Jersey since then, but we kind of realized that like we really didn't have another choice. Like he wasn't going to go back to work and whatever. And I think we actually bought 2 or 3 courses on e-commerce and dropshipping. Like we would always buy courses. Like to this day, like we still buy stuff. I mean, I'm sure you do as well, even. But it's just about like being able to assess all the information, pulling, even if you deem a course to be like a waste of money, just pulling like 1 or 2 things. Like we've had things that we've been taught like years before, and then one day they just, I remember that, and then it kind of it can impact your business in the future. So a lot of it is just, invest. We were doing good with Kindle before that, so it's just investing in knowledge, doing research, and yeah.
More than anything, I think it was just putting in, the effort and the time.
Yeah, that was, of course, that's the other thing. I mean, a lot of people, as I'm sure you know, that's all they'll do is the research. What we like to do is we'll spend like an allotted amount of time on research, and then it's all action, and it's all in, and it either works or it doesn't. But what we found is that even if it doesn't work like 100%, it still kind of sets you up to tweak things in the future. And you make a little change down the line, and then it's something successful. So,
and if I can add on that, I think that's the reason why high ticket dropshipping is so powerful. And that's because you don't need to have 100% of the knowledge to be successful, because you can make one sale and make a few $100s. And so, even if you're not the best at website design, or you don't have the best suppliers, or you're not the best at, Google ads, which is essentially the main three things that high ticket dropshipping consists of, then you could still get that feedback. You could still make money, and then you can keep learning and keep learning. And, compared to making niche sites and doing some other things, it takes sometimes 6 months just to get out of the Google sandbox, just to even see traffic start to trickle in. And then you don't know how well you're going to rank. So, I think what's important for us and what we try to teach people is that, you want to get results as quick as possible. And again, dropshipping is just something that allows you to get results without being an expert. And then you can create expertise.
Got it. Okay, cool. So your backs were to the wall. You were like, we know we're going to do some online business stuff. We don't know exactly what. You got some courses. Did you only get like dropshipping courses at that time, or were you looking at some other avenues as well?
Well, I had, because I did Amazon FBA, I had actually, I mentioned the retail arbitrage thing, but before getting into Kindle, I kind of moved from that to wholesale. So I was kind of already familiar with how to like reach out and like set up dealer accounts with people. And we kind of, I guess because of that, we kind of thought like we've already done e-commerce at some level. Like, I guess we didn't really debate what we were going to do. It was just, we had a little bit of the skill set. We were doing the research, and we just thought like, okay, we have this part of it down. Let's just run with it.
And I think someone who had done Kindle publishing had put out a course on dropshipping that we bought, and then it kind of just led us down that path. And when the thing happened with our accounts, we just knew that was what we were going to try to do.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened, actually.
Cool. And like, just for the people that don't know, so when you said you were doing some wholesaling, basically you would purchase from wholesalers, manufacturers, whoever, and then you would sell it on Amazon via FBA.
Right. I wasn't drop shipping it, but I would purchase big amounts, get them shipped to my house, label them, send them back out. And I was doing pretty well with that. So it was kind of the logical next step to just take that to your own website.
Cool. Now, can you just walk me through just actually what you guys did back then as you were, I guess, migrating over to drop shipping? And then, you know what? I won't ask any leading stuff. Just what's the process? What do you do?
Yeah. So essentially what we do is, we decide first off what niche or kind of broad industry that we're going to go in for our website. And we'll go out, we'll spec out a bunch of different manufacturers and brands that are in the US, just like, you go to Macy's, you see they're selling a bunch of different brands. They don't own them all. They're just retailers for them. So we have a process of kind of finding out who is more likely to be doing drop shipping, since drop shipping is not so much of kind of what is hyped up to be, where, you're just selling cheap items from China. It's really just a method of fulfillment. And when it comes down to expensive items and different industries, pretty much everyone is drop shipping in some regard. It's just, there's no point in having an expensive item shipped to your warehouse and then sending it to a customer. So we'll spec out what suppliers look good. We go into more of their nitty gritty pricing and seeing, who's going to be probably the best company to work with. We'll call them and we'll, fill out their dealer forms. It's a pretty simple process. And then from there, you just list the items on your site, run Google ads to it, and get some sales.
Gotcha. Joe, were you going to mention something too?
Well, I was going to say that as you kind of get into it, like when you make a site and you start getting one or two good brands on there and you start selling those, it kind of snowballs, because what happens is the other brands will, they'll kind of see like, oh, they're selling my competitor. They're getting X amount of traffic every month. If I don't get on there, it's a loss for me. So there is like a ramping up process, I would say, for a store. So, it's kind of the more stuff that you're selling, the more you can sell, because the more clout you have in an industry, essentially.
Cool. So you get like better terms and stuff and more negotiating power and all that.
Yeah, there's not a lot of negotiation. I think a lot of people, when we tell them we have to contact suppliers and do all this and that, they think it's kind of a big process. Most of them just have pretty strict dealer terms, but there are dealers that really, they have a really, really good brand and they don't just let anyone in. So you have to prove yourself first. And so that's kind of what he's referring to, is that once you can prove yourself in the industry, then you can get these really good dealers that have the best margins. They have the least competition. And so it results in really cheap traffic. And all you need is really one brand that is a home run to have a really, really good asset.
Got it. Okay. And then as far as like running ads, which I don't run ads. I don't know much about them. I've done some Facebook stuff and have a general understanding, but I would imagine you have to float the money for a little while, right? So you pay for some ads, some things are sold. It takes you a little while to get your money, even if you made a profit, right? So can you tell me about sort of that part of it? Number one, is that a correct assumption? Or, and then how it works if it is?
So it's actually not correct. With Facebook ads, it is more of a gamble to where you have to test all these ad sets. You have to find the winner. And then by that time, you've spent a couple $100 and now you need to scale and get your money back. With Google ads, you can essentially just target the keywords you want to show up for. And Google gives you a free, $100 to run ads with. So by the time that we use that free we get through that $100 credit, we are usually profitable. So yeah, there's nothing to really test. It's just you put your ads out, you see which do the best, and then you kind of just optimize around that. Say just, bid lower on the ones that don't work as well, and then really ramp up the ones that do work. But either way, there should not be a very long period of being in the hole.
Yeah, you're kind of combining the buyer intent of Google users with margins that you make a lot of, or products that you make a lot of money on. So with an affiliate site, obviously you make a few dollars per sale if it's a maybe $70, $80 product. So you essentially need to rank organically for that in order for it to work. But if you're making a few $100, $1,000+ per product, you don't need to get those organic rankings, and the same buyer intent is still there.
Yeah, and we've had sales come from clicks that cost us 1 cent. That's not always the case. We'll bid up to $8 for a click, but now that we know what we're doing, we can do that because we know the kind of response that we're going to get. But it's really, you kind of just set what bids you feel comfortable with, and then you see what happens. And I'm not a big advocate for really going crazy when you first start with ads. I think it's a learning process, and it's just an art, and you just need to get some data, and then you can make good decisions.
Yep. And that totally makes sense. I mean, you understand your margins, you understand like how much you could pay for whatever the visitor, I guess, and then on average, how many you're going to sell. So once you have the data, then it's like, if it's going to work or not, right? So
yes. So Google will essentially tell you, what search term a person converted on. And so once you have that kind of information, that a certain search term is profitable, then you can absolutely dominate that search term, whether it's through shopping ads or through text ads or, and there's even ways to go beyond that we discuss.
Like more advanced stuff. Got it.
Yeah.
Cool. And is there anything else on the just sort of high level of how drop shipping works? Other common questions that I probably missed here that you guys want to add in before we shift to another area?
I'd say probably on the level of customer support, because obviously, you know, when you have a niche website, there's no face-to-face interaction with the customer. You're just ranking and you're, you know, getting traffic and you're making commissions. With, you know, having a store, it does come with a bit of face-to-face, and you have to, you know, handle existing orders and do different things like that. And, you know, it's really what you want it to be. So if you want to have a big store that sells expensive items, you're going to have to take some calls. But you can outsource it to someone in the Philippines. You can get an American worker that, you know, can sort of take over your roles. And so we've done it in a multitude of different ways. And, yeah, it just depends kind of on what you want your life to be like. And, you have anything to add to that?
I don't think so. I think we kind of covered the high level of it.
Yeah. I think that's actually one of the harder things to put in place and create a system for, is training someone to do customer service. But, again, you know, there's a barrier to entry for everything, right? So whereas it may take you 12 months to learn SEO just so you can start making money, you know, instead, you know, you can put that time into training an employee and just having a store that runs automatically for you.
Gotcha. Yeah, it's a good way to put it. I mean, no matter what business model you pick, you could probably make it work out. And there's probably going to be some hurdle, like something that you're going to have to figure out, whether it's SEO or customer service or whatever. So for the margins, can you give us some ranges of the typical margins you're looking for and some other expenses like baked into it all, aside from, you know, the materials and the customer service and whatever?
As far as, we actually did a video on this, and we kind of talked about how the percentage of the margin isn't super important, because you can have a very low margin item like 10% and then a huge sales volume, and then you can have the inverse, obviously. So the margin, I mean, I would say it ranges from 10 to 50. Yeah, not accurate. So yeah, it's only important in context of the ad spend, as we talked about before. If the ad is profitable, it doesn't matter if the margin is, and of course, if it's worth the time to, you know, if you're making $100, you know, you don't want to process a bunch of orders that you're making $2 or $3, but if you're making 100, 500, you know, you gotta combine all that, put it all together.
Right. Okay. Got it. So one other thing that I was doing some, you know, pre-interview research on you guys, and I saw you have over 10 different businesses, and we mentioned some of the stuff that you have in play. So can you sort of run through as much as you could share about the portfolio and that sort of thing? I know some of it's sensitive information, so feel free to just share what you can, but I know this is something people are super interested in, to work for yourself, call the shots, you know, and then have a diverse set of assets where if something goes wrong, maybe it's only 10% of your income or revenue, and you can adjust and shift and it'll be okay. So can you run through sort of the portfolio and how you guys approached it?
Yeah. So we have had 6 different high ticket websites, dropshipping websites in total. We've now sold 2 of them. We just wrapped up a sale a couple weeks ago. So the first one we sold for $133,000. The last one we sold for $80,000. And so we have 4 websites now that do dropshipping. We have our Kindle business, and then we have about 5 different content sites.
Bunch of little niche sites that, you know, they've kind of been a little bit of our R&D. The way we kind of split up the work, I'm going to branch off a little bit here, but I think it'll be helpful. So when we really started to grow our business was when we first started, it was like we were kind of just doing like the same stuff. Like I'll be like, oh, I'm going to go change the AdWords bids. And then the next day he would go change the AdWords bids or whatever. But then we decided, I think we saw, I don't know, what inspired, was there one particular thing that inspired that we decided to, how we decided to distribute the work?
Maybe James Schramko, if anything.
Yeah, I think we saw a presentation by James Schramko, and we really started to split up the work. And what we really started to do to scale was that, because if you're splitting it between two people, you have to be efficient. So what we started to do was that he would handle the management of the store and the AdWords. And the reason he would do the AdWords is because if he's managing the store, he has his finger on the pulse of like what's going on. So it's much, much easier for that. And then during the scaling phase, and we still do this to this day, is like I'll do all the setup of the site, calling suppliers, getting the suppliers to, getting in their dealer program and stuff like that. So I'll handle all that, and I'll also handle like the R&D stuff for new sites that we're going to be working on. So I've spent the last few years, like 2 years, I'd say, kind of figuring out the content sites, figuring out SEO, and so I kind of got off on a tangent there, but
that's great.
That's how we structure our business. So yeah, we have Kindle, which he handles, but I'll handle the site portion of it and the Facebook ads, and then the small content sites is kind of my little playground, and they earn around $2,000 to $3,000 a month, depending on the month. I'm hoping it's gonna be higher during the holiday season, but we're just really focused on experimenting and reinvesting into those, because we know that those sell like really easily. So, we're just kind of, we're focusing on growth a lot right now and experimenting. And like I mentioned earlier, doing a lot of the combining of all these strategies. So one of the niche sites I'm working on right now, we just made it 2 months ago, and it's basically connected to one of our stores. And what we'll do is kind of similar to what you teach, is we'll focus on the long tail terms, because like we have a niche site. We have one niche site that gets like 7,000 sessions per month, but it's a very low. The ad revenue from that isn't very high. It's like, I think we get 2 or 3 RPMs, and I think I may kind of might need to change the ad network and play around with that. But with if it's connected to one of our dropshipping stores, 1,000 visitors a month could mean 1,000 RPM, 2,000 RPM. So we've kind of come to that realization, and so we're really putting a big focus on taking the learnings that we've done over the past 2 years, really, and combining them with the e-commerce and Kindle.
Yeah, and if I can add to that a little bit, obviously not everyone who's looking to get into this has a partner to do it with, and so dropshipping, we know plenty of people that do it all by themselves, and in our course, it's not, you don't need to have a business partner to do it. It's just, it may take you a little bit longer to get up and running, and whereas we have 2 people, and so we can do a lot of stuff. For one person, it means double the money.
Yeah, you can have
that's true.
Yeah.
Got to split it.
But,
yeah. So I mean, to touch upon the RPM thing, if people aren't super familiar, RPM essentially means your earnings per 1,000 visitors for typically like an ad network. And when a site is getting organic traffic, they judge, okay, after 1,000 visitors, how much money am I making in ads? And so even on like the best premium ad network, you're going to get what, like 20 RPM?
Yeah, around that, 20 to 30. Have you ever gotten higher?
Me? You know what? I don't keep track of earnings in that way, which is like so basic, but I have no idea. To be honest with you, no clue.
Yeah. We worked with John Dykstra. I know he's all about the ads.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Anyway,
so we kind of had the realization that, we're putting in this time to get all these visitors just to make $20 for every 1,000 visitors, whereas on our dropshipping sites, 1,000 visitors could mean, a few thousand in revenue. And so, obviously, we're very familiar with what you teach and the keyword golden ratio and all that stuff. We figured, why not just apply that to our high ticket sites, get these really, high intent, potentially very profitable keywords and send them to our own e-commerce website.
Perfect. And I was going to say, this is obviously not a groundbreaking idea, but people ask about it all the time and they can't put the pieces together. So it's really cool how you guys, you started from different areas, Kindle publishing, the retail arbitrage. And the thing that I always say is, like, when something goes wrong, it'll be okay because all the business models have their flaws and issues and stuff. Like, you develop skills and insights that you can apply in other areas, which is great. And now you're like combining business models, stacking them on each other. So you're like, oh, we can make way more profit if we sell our own product over here. So it's perfect. I mean, it makes total sense.
And not to mention, it boosts, the actual value of the asset itself, because, you have multiple domains, you have multiple traffic sources, and you're earning revenue from different areas. So it makes you, less vulnerable to changes like an algorithm update or something happened with your ads account. So yeah, it's something that, we're investing heavily on now to sort of set us away from the pack.
Cool. Yeah. All right. Now let's shift into a little debate style. So I'm sure we're going to have fun with this. I was perusing your blog and I saw a post on dropshipping versus affiliate marketing. And I think, it's a great read in general. So we'll link up to it and then we'll just talk through it here. So we'll just hit the bullet points. I think you guys are going to be more prepared than me because you literally wrote this article and I don't know much about dropshipping. So this should be good. So number one, I think it's pretty clear around the profit margin and just in general. I know from the affiliate side, like especially Amazon affiliate, your effective overall commission rate is probably going to be maybe somewhere between 4 and 6% or something on average. So you mentioned before the drop shipping margins are pretty high. So anything to add to that other than you said 10 to 50% depending on a number of variables, but anything else to add?
So, I mean, obviously with Amazon, if you can get the traffic, obviously Amazon has a really high conversion rate, and how we were talking about, the volume before, we would rather have a 10% margin on something that sells really well and gets really cheap clicks. With Amazon, you do have the potential to sell a lot of volume, but you also only have a 24-hour cookie window. So someone has to buy something within 24 hours for you to get credit. Whereas with our sites, we don't have a cookie window. They're pixeled for us now, and so we can remarket to them as much as possible, and that is another added benefit.
Not to mention that you get to bake in some, if you're in the right niche, you can bake in some additional lifetime customer value because someone buys from you, they're going to be on your email list. They can come back and buy more stuff. Some we sell actually some replenishable items on some of our stores that are kind of expensive. I mean, they're not thousands of dollars, but people come back and buy from us. So yeah, I think the margin or the profit per visitor compared to an Amazon affiliate site is generally, I think, going to be higher.
Yep. And from my perspective, right, because I'm the affiliate marketing person, so I think I'm going to call it a push, but it's up for debate because the volume and the number of visitors potentially could make up for it. Maybe the drop shipping in the long run is better, but I'm sort of like the volume's so high for some affiliate sites and the traffic's so high, even though the earnings per visitor are so low. it may be a push. So what do you guys think? Is that too big of a stretch?
I mean, you're in a way, you're right. I mean, but what do you have to sacrifice to get that volume? I mean, to me, and I'll be the first to admit that you probably have a greater mastery on niche site creation than we do at this point. But even the best SEOs in the game have sites that tank, or they have sites that just don't work out the way that they expect. I mean, would you agree with that?
Yes.
Yes. So let me put it to you this way: is for all the 6 dropshipping stores that we've made, we've never had one fail. Never had one that we had to close. We sold 2 of them. 4 of them are alive and kicking, and it's just because you're in control of that traffic. So I would say the affiliate marketing is like, you're going out to the river and you're like trying to scoop up some water with like a cup or something. But
okay.
You get what I'm trying to say. It's like you're dipping your toe in the river of traffic, but you're not controlling the traffic, and that's the difference. Is when you are doing paid traffic, you're controlling the traffic, and I think that's a foundation. That's a more solid foundation for like a real business, I would say.
Yeah, because the likelihood that your ad account gets shut down is so minimal if you're just doing everything by the rules, which is not hard to do. You don't need to cheat. The real problem with the affiliate earnings, obviously the volume is great. You don't need to do anything. The traffic just comes in, but it's the length you have to go and the risk you have to go through in order to potentially get that traffic to your site. Whereas, with a dropshipping site, you can just get the traffic.
And like basically on day, like once you have the infrastructure set up, you can run ads and get traffic like day 2 or something, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And the ads are, I mean, they're evergreen for the most part. I mean, because it's Google and it's not Facebook, Facebook ads, generally speaking, aren't like evergreen. Like the audience is going to get tired of seeing your ad. But like Google, since with the buyer intent, you have new people searching for stuff they want to buy and they want to buy it. So it's kind of like just getting that position 1 spot for a little bit of money.
Cool. And we sort of, that was my fault there. We sort of were blending a couple things together, but okay. So for making a profit, I think I think you guys are probably right. I think like profit wise, like a drop shipping site has like more capability, and there's like, obviously the margins are better and you can control things a little bit more. Similar, the traffic sources. So that's what we're talking about. So affiliate sites typically are relying on organic SEO traffic because the margins are so low. You can't pay for ads and make money at the same time. For drop shipping, you got the data, right? So you have some assumptions to start out with. And then once you get data, you can keep rolling with it on the ads. So I think for traffic sources, if it works out, drop shipping is good, but free traffic is good for affiliate sites. So, now one thing that you guys mentioned before, is I think a drop shipping site could get free organic traffic too, if they just, if you just put content on the site, right?
Absolutely. I mean, you can even get traffic to your category pages. Again, something that we're actively working on, but yeah, there's no reason why you can't put content on your affiliate site or on another separate site if you want to try and do like some mega master plan where you avoid the cannibalization. So if you want to say you were ranking for widgets on your, like the category widgets on your your e-commerce site, and then you wanted to rank for best widgets on your blog, you set it separately and you don't run into that cannibalization issue.
Makes sense. Okay. Anything else to add about traffic sources?
No,
that's about it. I think we're all in agreement. Free traffic is great, and so when you have free traffic, you can get whatever margins. It doesn't matter. It's just harder to get free traffic.
And even though we seem biased, we also like the niche sites, so it's not like
Yeah.
But
yeah. It's all friendly. I think by the end of this, because we got a few more points to go through, I'm gonna try to do drop shipping. So,
okay.
Okay, so moving on to the earnings per visitor, I think like affiliate sites you mentioned typically can get a lot of visitors, but probably fewer sales. And then dropshipping, you mentioned what you describe as sales pipeline control. So can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm not sure how else we can expand upon it.
Yeah.
But
can you just like for the people that don't know what the pipeline is and like how to control it, like just how you can explain it in layman's terms?
Okay, so most of the people that are going to be coming to the site because of how we're running our AdWords campaigns are going to be visitors with high buying intent, meaning that they're searching something that they're already looking to buy. They're like far along in the research process. Now, that's the same with an Amazon affiliate site. Now, with an Amazon affiliate site, someone obviously has to click over to Amazon. If they click over, and you have a 24-hour cookie window for Amazon to convert them on something, that product or another product. But and that's about where it ends for an Amazon affiliate site. But when you control the traffic of your e-commerce site, we'll put this in real layman's terms here, is the first thing that happens when they come to the site is they're getting hit with a remarketing tag. They're getting hit with a Google remarketing tag to get remarketed around the web when you're browsing other sites, and they're getting hit with a Facebook remarketing tag, and you can do Pinterest and some others. So once they're on our site, they're gonna most likely come back to our site. I mean, they have a high chance of coming back to our site because they're going to be seeing our site over and over and over again. With the Amazon affiliate site, you're obviously not doing that. Now, the best case, that's the worst case scenario. The best case scenario is that they sign up for your email list, and then once they're on the email list, obviously you have a much higher chance of converting them yet again. And I think that
cool.
That sums it up.
I'll add something else to that. So say someone is looking for an electric bike, right? So probably the first thing they're going to do is go on Google and search electric bike. And so they don't know what they want yet. They don't really know what's out there. They're just kind of gauging the market and seeing what's going on. That's a generic search like that is not something that is as valuable as once the customer does more research and they figure out, okay, I want this Schwinn electric bike. Because the customer that's searching Schwinn, they're already aware of the brand that we carry. They're already, they understand the price point most likely. And then even from there, if they're searching for, the brand and even the item number, then they're even more likely to buy because they know exactly what product they're looking for. And that's really the main difference. Whereas Amazon and niche sites kind of stop at the best electric bike kind of level. We can go down further and spend money to show up when they're ready to buy.
Got it. Okay.
Theoretically, you can hit them on every layer. So like even if you build out a blog, you can hit them during the research process. And then every layer of the buying process, you can hit them on.
Very cool. Yeah. And I like the remarketing. I was going to say, I was chatting with my dad the other day and he's like, I look up one product and then I see the ads like everywhere I go, like the exact, I mean, everyone does it now. It's pretty like simple technology, but yeah, it's pretty funny. Okay. Moving on. And I think, earnings per visitor, like slam dunk for drop shipping just in general. Next is beginner's budget. So yeah, we kind of glossed over this. As far as how much it costs to get started with drop shipping, I guess just take us through some of the details on that.
Mm-hmm. So, I mean, you can really, if you want, you can do everything within the free trials and try to be profitable before those expire. But I think Shopify is like $30 a month.
Yeah.
The phone service that we use, maybe $24 a month. What else is there before Google?
I got to buy the domain name for like $10
a year. So, that's it's probably around $100 to get set up with all that. But as far as ad spend goes, I remember back in the day, when we sold our first site, I remember I was looking at the P&L reports, and we were only spending probably between $400 and $600 a month on ads. So that's like, less than $20 a day. And one of our students that's got their first 3 sales within their first week, they're spending less than that. I think they spent like $7 one day and made a $900 sale. So, it's really just how fast you want to get started. Because again, the focus is on the high quality traffic. So, the whole point of scaling is just to get more traffic that's of the same quality. So it doesn't matter if you're spending $5 a day on Google, you should get the same results theoretically, but it should take you, you're not going to make as much because you're only spending $5 a day.
Got it. Okay. So sounds like relatively inexpensive. Are there any tools that you need to do certain pieces of research, or it's just, calling and chatting with suppliers?
No, we just use Google for basic research. Just checking out other sites that we know do dropshipping and seeing, what they carry. And there's definitely Shopify apps that we use now, but again, most of them have like free trials, and you don't really need to pay for them until you're actually making money. So,
okay. So it sounds like probably a couple $100, just in general to get started. Is that about right?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right.
And like I said, we don't really look at the Google ads as like an upfront investment like that. How you get, because like I said, you get a free $100 when you spend your first 25 or 50. And so if you're profitable within that time, you're already kind of in the clear to keep spending and spending. So, again, it's not like you're fronting anything.
Okay.
But the one thing you do have to do, obviously, is when you get a sale, you have to pay the supplier. So, we recommend there are certain credit cards that are good for that, for getting cash back. And so you have to be able to, pay the supplier, and then you get paid by the customer, Shopify, and that's about it.
Got it. Okay. And I think from the affiliate side, startup costs are similar, but as you guys noted in your article, typically the ROI that you'll get from an affiliate site it's way further out. So the argument that I make, which may or may not be strong, kind of applies to the traffic source as well. On a long enough timeline, it's okay, right? So how long do you want the timeline to be? I guess it depends on your knowledge beforehand and when you get started, but I'm like, after, a year or so, like it's probably going to be okay as far as organic traffic and making profit and so on. However, at the same time, I imagine a dropshipping site could grow really huge in a year, where maybe you're just hitting your stride on an affiliate site. So I guess if everything's working out, you could scale the ads in a pretty insane way, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And, we have stores that we spend like $600 a day on, and that's even something we're working to grow. But yeah, I think, again, when you're a beginner, having to say, okay, what I'm doing is going to pay off in a year, I think it's a lot to ask of someone. Because again, if they're new, their skills aren't as refined as someone like you, or even, like Joe, to where, we're already getting some cash flow, and it's like, in a year or 2 years, it'll pay off, and it's super passive. And so kind of whatever happens. To, have someone that's really desperate to get out of their job, or someone that really just wants to start making money online for whatever reason, and tell them, okay, you have to put in this effort, and then in a year it may pay off. It's not the best practice, in my opinion.
Okay, we can go down this route then. So in my argument, which this isn't part of the article here, but I'm like, the people that are attracted to, and I'll have to make sure I say this very diplomatically, the people that are attracted to like the faster ROI, generally, I don't want to work with them. You end up with a bunch of weirdos, not weirdos. You end up with people that are making poor decisions based on their urgency, whatever that may be. And I'm a patient, methodical person to like move forward. And I know you guys are too. So I'm not, nothing's personal here. Nothing's personal here. Just to make it clear. But like slowly iterating and letting someone like learn the skills to build up to whatever it is. So I'm looking for like the patient people who are going to make slower decisions. Maybe they do hate their job and they need to get out of it. But at the same time, I'm like, I want that patient person that's like going to put the work in. Cause like the affiliate side, you guys are 100% right. It's going to take some time. There's going to be some mistakes. There's going to be issues. And even the people that are really successful run through those. So, I mean, maybe drop shipping is better for the faster ROI. But you may end up with, I mean, I'm not saying anything about the students of your course, but you may end up with people who are making bad decisions. So that's redundant. What do you think? Am I way off base on that?
I think you're generally right. The person that's going to be more drawn to, an affiliate side of things may be more methodical in their approach to business, or kind of, they're more willing to be patient because they know, okay, this is going to take a while. Whereas, dropshipping is advertised, especially like on Facebook with different courses and stuff like that, as like a really quick hit, like make money online type thing. I mean, again, I think, since we've done so many things, we've had the opportunity to see, what works well and what doesn't. And so, I mean, I think, we want to attract smart people too. And we just want to let them know what's out there, and that, there is a quicker solution to building, an asset that you can sell versus just doing pure SEO.
And one thing I want to add to that, Doug, is that someone who is really business savvy, I think they understand the importance of cash flow. And I think if you ask someone who's really business savvy, if you're going to go start a new business, do you want to be cash flow positive 2 weeks, month 1, month 2, or do you want to be cash flow positive in a year? I mean, I think a rational thinking person would go for the quick cash flow.
Yes. And I think we're on the same side here overall. So thanks for indulging me in that. You guys handled that well. What I was going to say is 2 things. So I think we're on the same side. One of the reasons why I think the keyword golden ratio like caught on and has been helpful is like people can sort of short circuit the very long timeline that's out there for an affiliate site to get traffic and be profitable. So it shortens that. If you want to shorten it more, you could do drop shipping and like, exactly what you guys are saying. The second part to layer on, and then we can move on. I get some emails, you guys may see them too, but it's like the person who wants to, actually I got one like yesterday. They're like, I'm really strapped. I need money by, next Thursday, and it's Tuesday right now. And, you know what? I just need it right away. And those are the people, they're like, I need to make like $1,000 per week starting in 4 days. So at that point, I'm just like, oh man, like get out of here. Like, I don't want to work with you at all. You're crazy. I'm sure you guys run across it too. And I know that's not who you're working with. So that's the thought in my head. So go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, actually, I mean, I know no one probably reads this, but I made it like on our course, like I made it like a real point on the disclaimer to say, like, when you're going into business like this, you shouldn't act out of that desperation. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, whether it's drop shipping, whether it's affiliate, like business is business. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's sometimes it doesn't work out for whatever reason. And when you're coming from that place of like total scarcity, I think the odds of it working out, no matter what you're doing, are less. So it's kind of funny. I was like, I never watched this kind of stuff, but I was watching Gary Vanderchuck, I think that's how you say his name, the other day, because I wanted to see like what these people have. Like I've never really paid attention to it, and what he said for someone like that I would actually agree with is like go and get free stuff on Craigslist and sell it on like Facebook Marketplace. So if you're in that sort of really, 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 really desperate situation, I would point towards something like that rather than like actually considering starting a business.
Yeah. Yep. And, people, obviously it's a common question. Like, how much money can I make? Or, like how soon can I start making this amount of money? And it's like, I think that is a bit more of a beginner mindset. And, I won't say I never had those sort of thoughts when I would do something, but you just need to understand that there's risk to everything. And the people that are going to be the most successful are the ones that can sort of just be persistent no matter what business model it is. And I think the best thing about online business is that the skills that you learn are so compounding. It's like everything that you do each day, sort of you learn more, and the actions that you take sort of build upon each other to make you more money over time. Whereas when you have a job, it's just a set amount of money per day, no matter what you learn. And so, I think, the real success comes after just a couple years of being consistent.
Yep. I agree with that 100%. And I don't know if you guys read the Steve Martin, one of his memoirs. It's like Born Standing Up. But I think it was Johnny Carson told him, one day you're going to like use everything you ever learned. And in the Three Amigos, you guys remember Three Amigos? You remember that movie?
Never saw it.
Oh man, you guys are too young. You don't know Three Amigos? It has Martin Short, Steve Martin, and Chevy Chase. So the Titans, But yeah, he like played the banjo, the ukulele, and like did some other stuff. He did like the lasso. So check out the book if you haven't read it too. It's very good. So, all right. We are coming up towards the end of time. I see we're going over a little bit, so thanks, guys. We have a couple more points to go through. So the passive aspect of affiliate sites versus dropshipping, and I know for affiliate sites, like once you kind of get them rolling after that, 1 year period or so, pretty much maintenance mode. It's pretty light. Things can go wrong, but generally you could kind of let them roll. Just put a few hours in per, month or week or whatever you want to do. So, and yep, you can go for the drop shipping side.
I mean, I agree. I think, if you can get an affiliate site to that level, then it's great. And that's why we do affiliate businesses, is because they are so passive. And, when you actually go to sell an affiliate business, it takes like the time that you have to listen on the marketplace, like say for Empire Flippers, is so short. Like you can sell it within a week for a higher multiple than a dropshipping site. But a dropshipping site, although you have to do upfront customer service and things that aren't as passive that you can outsource, it's really the only place that you can make a sale that brings you $1,000 profit. So passive sites, they bring in consistent earnings every day. But a dropshipping site is the only one where you can really get just a huge hit of, a sale that brings in a lot of money instantly.
Right on.
Yeah. I think.
But I mean, not to say that like we are really chained to our dropshipping businesses. I mean, we take vacations. There are times where I just tell my employee, okay, like, I'm leaving, you got to handle this, and things work out. So again, it's just different things you have to learn to systematize, and that's really what it's all about.
With your project management skills, Doug, it would be a walk in the park.
It should be. I was going to say, it sounds like you got to have a couple employees and like some SOPs and stuff like that, but like fairly straightforward, it sounds like.
Yeah, I mean, we have one employee that runs 4 stores. So
okay, that's awesome.
How many do we have in total, would you say?
I mean, again, we're pretty big at this point, so I don't want someone to hear this and get intimidated. But I mean, across all of our businesses, we probably have like 10 people that we pay on a part-time to full-time basis. But that's because we have people, uploading products for us on a daily basis. Again, we have employees, we have, a backup. And so we're kind of setting ourselves up to be able to grow more. Whereas, if you just wanted to maintain, you don't need someone to be uploading products. You don't need, a backup employee. So
I think, the same, we're focused on growth right now. And I think the same applies to an affiliate site. Yeah, you can get it to $1,000 a month, but say you do that in a year, and then you want to get it to 10,000 in the next year, and then you still have to be managing that content, worry about getting the links, making sure your site structure and on-page optimization is on point. So the growth still,
growth takes effort no matter what business model you're in. But again, the main difference is for maintenance, for a niche site, you don't need to have any employees. You can just sit there and, watch it do its thing. Whereas for the dropshipping sites, like someone does need to be there on a day-to-day basis.
Depends on the volume of the store too. You can have a store making
that's true.
2,000 or 3,000 a month with 30 products. That doesn't really require much in that. But when you're trying to scale like we are, it's a different thing, and everything comes with time. One step at a time.
Yeah, right. And I've known a couple people that live in Thailand that just have stores that they're not looking to grow into these crazy businesses like we are, and so they're on a completely opposite time zone. They're not really answering calls, and they'll wake up, they'll get back to whatever they missed, and then they just go about their day. So again, it can be whatever you want it to be. So
got it. That it totally makes sense. I was also going to say we like business, right? Like we like the process, we enjoy it, we get obsessed with it. So it's not a huge, it's nice to focus on other areas and learn new things and stuff like that. But at the same time, it's we're going to be doing something, whether it's working on the specific site that we're talking about, how passive it is, because we want to grow it, or we want to start new things because it's interesting. We just like to do business. So the goal really, I'm sure you guys read the 4-Hour Work Week, but it's the goal isn't to be passive and bored. We want to do stuff. So whether it's travel or building businesses, it's good to be excited about whatever it is you're doing. So
you just need to have something that you need to have a system in place that affords you, I don't know what the word would be, passive ability, where it can be passive if you want it to be. You say you want to take a month off or something. I think that's really what it's all about, is that you can step away and it will run itself, and that's the most important thing.
Very cool. So last point here is around selling the site, and you kind of alluded to it earlier. So affiliate sites are pretty nice because I guess the demand's a little bit higher because of the perceived, whether it's accurate or not, passive aspect. So it's a hot asset right now, and the multiples are a little bit higher for affiliate sites, and they sell so fast, in 15 minutes or whatever. So drop shipping, people are a little more hesitant. Maybe it's slightly more complex of a business model. So it's, people aren't as eager to buy them as fast, maybe.
I think there's just more due diligence that goes on in it. And, obviously with an affiliate site, the earning reports are all electronic. Google Analytics, you see what traffic's coming in, and then that's really all that needs to be confirmed. Again, with the dropshipping site, there's multiple suppliers that go into it, and there's other considerations that I think make it take a little bit longer. The first big site that we sold within a week or two. This other one that we just sold took a little bit longer, but
cool.
It's but again, it took us a little bit longer to sell, but we also made it, that was the site that we made in 2 weeks. And then we really didn't do much work to it from there, other than just, having someone handle the customer service. And so
that was the one with like 30 products that I talked about earlier.
Okay, gotcha. And that could be like a topic for a whole other show. It sounds like launched it 2 weeks, sold it for 88 or 80,000. So that sounds interesting. But we'll put a pin in it for now. One last question, and then we can sort of wrap it up here. So for the people that may be thinking, hey, isn't drop shipping like played out? I remember reading about it years ago in the 4 Hour Work Week. And then I've seen so many courses, like, is it too saturated? Like, what would you say for people that are thinking that?
It's just a fulfillment method. That's all it is. It's a process of shipping something from one place to another. It's a very efficient fulfillment method for expensive items. And if you can market products, you could drop ship. I mean, that's if you do the right marketing, you drop ship. That's what it is. Yeah. Stuff is drop shipped on Amazon.
E-commerce is dead. Google ads aren't dead. You know, there's so many hundreds of thousands of different brands out there. You know, you're bound to find something that works.
Very good. Yeah, it's like saying there's like too many restaurants or there's too many stores. Like
restaurants are dead.
Yeah. Food is dead. No one's eating any.
So where should people find you? I know buildassetsonline.com. I'll put links for stuff to make it easy, but anywhere else where you want folks to check y'all out?
We have a YouTube channel. I'm sure you can give a link to that. We kind of just started it. I didn't assign the custom URL yet, so I can't give you a clever link. But we have a YouTube channel, same name, Build Assets Online. Right now, we're putting out like daily videos about dropshipping and online business. So we're hoping to keep up with that. And we love when people ask us questions on there because we love doing the Q&A type videos where we like answer people's questions. So
and we also have on our website, we have like a free little mini video series called the Online Assets Playbook, where essentially we just summarize kind of what we talked about here, our broad approach to how we build assets and kind of the foundation that we use to, create a big portfolio to be worth, over $1 million. So.
Very cool. Well, thanks, guys. Really appreciate it. And thanks again for the little debate there. I think that was cool. People can let us know if they liked it or not, because that's the thing. I just test things every now and then. So maybe people hated that and we won't know. But everyone leave a comment to let us know. All right. So thanks again, guys. Really appreciate it.
Thank you, Doug.
Thank you, Doug.
Thanks again to Mike and Joe over at Build Assets Online. I appreciate their time and just hearing their story. They just about had me convinced to get into drop shipping myself. But, I got so many irons in the fire, so many plates spinning. Fill in another analogy. I got a lot of those things going. So it's kind of better for me just to chill and focus on what I'm doing, because that's what I'm doing. So if you are interested in learning more, I can tell you that Mike and Joe do have a premium, like more thorough, like full course. If you are interested, I do encourage you to check out the free course first. But if you are interested, they have one out there. I happen to be an affiliate for it, so I get a commission if you buy that course eventually. So I appreciate it if you do. It helps me buy organic biscuits for Georgie and that sort of thing. We have a few more talking points before we finish up this episode, and I see it's getting to be kind of a long episode, which brings me to point number one. I'm a little curious. When do you listen to the Doug Show? Are you commuting? Do you work out and you listen to this? Are you walking the dog? Are you working in the house? Do you listen at work? I used to listen to so many podcasts at work. It was crazy. I would listen basically through my commute all day long, and I would listen like at 1.5x speed. So I was listening to many hours of podcasts as I was working. So I'm just curious. Shoot me an email with it's feedback at doug.show, so you can let me know about that. Very curious. Point number two is around the aged site case study that I am working on. I just started it a few weeks back, at least at the time that I'm recording this. But if you're unfamiliar, I purchased a pre-made site from a vendor called Human Proof Designs, and they're my friends over there, and I've been working with them for a while. So I bought a site from them, and the general idea is to outsource all aspects of the work to be done. Now I know I'm going to, I'm a tinkerer, so I'm going to get in there a little bit, but the general idea is I'm going to buy the site pre-made. It is an age site, so it should have traffic coming already, which it does. That was awesome. So as soon as I got the site in my possession, I saw in Google Analytics that traffic was indeed hitting the site. In fact, a sale was made within like 2 to 3 days of me taking possession, and more sales have been made in like the last week and a half. I've only had it for like a week and a half, about 10 days or so. So anyway, very popular case study so far, and at least from what I could tell, because so many people have emailed me and asked questions about it, and it's pretty cool. So the idea is I'm buying a site and I'm outsourcing generally everything. So keyword research, content, link building. Those are the main pieces, by the way. There's not that much more to it. So once you get the site, you got some keywords and some links, you should be in good shape. So I'm documenting everything along the way. I'm going to be sharing like real numbers for what I am spending, tracking all of the expenses, and answering questions along the way. And there's an episode a couple podcasts back, so you can check out some of the deeper details. But if you are unfamiliar, highly encourage you to check out this case study. Currently, I am keeping what I'm calling like a raw notes page so that you can see things in the plan and the timeline as we go, because I'm going to write it up in a little bit more thoughtful way in the future. But a lot of people wanted to see like what's going on right now with like the case study. So check it out. If you're interested, it's at nichesiteproject.com/ASCS. All right. So that's age site case study. You should be able to find it. And if you have questions and stuff, shoot me an email, feedback@doug.show. So why don't I do drop shipping, and why am I sticking to affiliate marketing? Well, it was kind of a matter of timing. So when I got started online in like early to mid 2013, that is when I first discovered the Smart Passive Income podcast. And I think maybe a couple years before I was getting into it, AdSense sites were very popular. Pat Flynn had a very popular case study that he did, the Security Guard Training HQ website, and that was AdSense based, generally informational based. And then there were a lot of people that were into AdSense sites. It's still a viable business model. In fact, if you go check out the interviews with Ron Stefanski, you'll hear that people are doing great with it. Ron's making almost $200K a year from his portfolio of sites, and it still works, right? AdSense still works. However, when I got started, for whatever reason, I sort of gravitated towards the affiliate model. Now, part of that was, as I mentioned, timing, because Spencer Hawes over at Niche Pursuits was kicking off his initial niche site project #1, but it was the first one, so we just called it Niche Site Project. And thankfully, he let me borrow that name. It fits in with the project management stuff that I do, and I thought that was a good name. Checked with Spencer, and he was like, "Sure, man, you can use that name. No big deal." So appreciate that, Spencer. I don't think you listen to this, but if you do, that's cool. We'll have you on here soon. Anyway, the point is, the first AdSense site, the first niche site that I created was indeed AdSense. Actually, the first 2 or 3, they failed. They were terrible. They didn't work out. I didn't know what I was doing. However, when Spencer was doing his case study, things clicked. Things started working. I got a few of my mistakes out of the way with those early AdSense sites, and then the affiliate model was working for me. And I was like, hey, that's cool. I'm actually making some money. things are great. And then I stuck with it. I continued to refine the process, iterate. I still made mistakes with the affiliate sites, by the way. And I still do. Hopefully smaller mistakes, non-critical mistakes. But the point is the affiliate site model worked for me and I stuck with it. And there were multiple sort of points along the way where I thought about, private labeling certain products that I know that they were selling well, right? Like I know currently, and I knew in the past that they were selling well because I could see what is sold from my site in a general way. And I could see specifics as well. So technically, I would understand like what's selling well at volumes, and I have a bunch of traffic on my sites. So technically I could have gotten into some drop shipping or private labeling or, something where I'm selling directly to consumers. However, because the affiliate model was working and I have been dabbling in, courses like 5-Figure Niche Site, and I started YouTubing and I'm doing the podcast now, there's only so many things you can do. Now, the thing that I want to layer on top of this is I personally want to have a lean team. I want to have a couple assistants working with me, but I don't want to have full-time staff. And that is just my own personal choice. Some other people would prefer to have a big team. They want to have a strong team around them to delegate certain things and run the business, and perhaps have a CEO and a COO and a CTO and a lot of other executives like doing things, making decisions and all that stuff. I do not want to have that. I just want to have me and a couple of assistants. And in fact, I do the podcast editing whenever it's required. Like right now, when I'm pulling together a couple of the interviews and stuff like that and recording directly into GarageBand. And that's just what I prefer. Now, I try to not do too much of this admin work and some of the editing, but it's fairly straightforward. And currently, at least right now, I still enjoy doing some of this light admin stuff. But when you get down to it, and back on topic, like why didn't I do drop shipping and why don't I get into it? Well, I would be spread too thin, and I'm doing fine right now, and I'm not super interested in learning that other business model. Other things do interest me, like doing the podcast, like talking to new people, interviewing them, refining my interviewing skills, talking to people on YouTube as well, and just creating YouTube videos. I'm interested in that sort of stuff more than creating a new business model working with a new business model like drop shipping or something else. So, I don't think anything is wrong with dabbling and checking things out and seeing like what you like to do. But for me, I was like, all right, I kind of feel pretty good about this affiliate marketing stuff. I understand what's going on. I'm refining the process. I'm teaching others, right? I understand affiliate marketing well enough that I could teach other people how to do it that have very little background and for them to be successful. So for me, that indicates, right? Other people may disagree, but to me, that indicates like if I could teach someone how to do it and they can execute and be successful, I probably know the process really well. So again, I generally enjoy it. I know what I'm doing, and I know it well enough that I could teach other people about it. I am sure at some point I will be a little bored with it or something like that. Maybe I want to dabble in some other areas, but so far so good. And I'm sticking with the affiliate stuff right now. So I'm curious what you think about that. Do shoot me an email, feedback@doug.show. You can let me know your thoughts on the matter, drop shipping versus affiliate marketing. And I'll give Joe and Mike another shout out for like going through the debate process. I think that was cool. I hope that it came off well during the interview and on the podcast and everything. And if it didn't, all apologies on my side. Those guys were doing a great job talking with me. So anyway, do check out Build Assets Online. Appreciate it, Joe and Mike. Everybody have a great day, and we'll catch you on the next Doug Show.